I'd like to call up the producer and the guy that really allowed for my audition to happen, Ryan Andrews, Mr. A to most of us. Woo! And our cinematographer, Roland Lazarte.
Roland!
Our visual effects gurus, Adam and Luke Whitmarsh.
Alright, so basically how this is going to work is you can raise your hand and ask a question. Anything you want. You can address it to a specific member of the panel or to the panel as a whole. Is there anyone that wants to get us started?
Yes. Right there, in the middle.
Yeah. What was your budget when you say
Yeah, so no. But, I mean, we were able to raise about $3,500, which mostly went towards food and talent costs. And we stuck to it, and we didn't fork up much any other money. I mean, really, we had a lot of great resources to use originally. And I guess in the words of Robert Rodriguez, it's all about the creativity. You know, the less you're given, the more you can do, and that's what I did last summer and this summer too. But this summer I had a lot more people to help me out with it, so it was great. Any other questions? I actually can't see a thing from up here.
I wanted to ask Jonathan what his impression was of working with such a young director, and what did he think?
Good question.
Something I told Matt during the filming at the very end. I do mostly theater, so I work with directors who deal with actors. A lot of film directors can be quite different. They're more focused on the technical aspects of the production. Matt is extremely good at dealing with actors. No, it's true. Even this actors will always make suggestions, and he was really good at doing that. Yeah, that's a great idea, but I think.
Yeah, baby.
No, he was really, really good. I mean, there was a lot of late nights, a lot of tired actors, and people getting grumpy and cold, and he was just excellent at keeping us on task and focused on what we needed for the moment. He was excellent.
I just want to follow up with that and say that for being the first thing that I've worked on with adults and with people that I don't know, because everything else I've done has been mostly with people who are sitting right up in here. But it was for my first gig to be working with people who are, I hate to say work with people, to make magic with people who, well, not with adults. I mean, I couldn't have had a greater set of people that really they nurtured me. They didn't treat me like a child, but they looked out for me, and just as much as I looked out for them. And so I couldn't have been more privileged to have the people that I had. So.
I have a quick question for the Whitmarshes. How many hours did you say did it take you to put all of the visual effects together?
Well, I haven't slept well in 2 weeks. We started the effects the Friday that Christmas break started, and the final Blu-ray was out of the drive 2 minutes before we left the company. So, and we have been working round the clock pretty much. Matt had a couple all-nighters that we pulled, set up a command center, and cranked everything out in probably about 60, 70 hours of actual working in the past 2 weeks. This is a long time.
Any other questions from the audience? Yes?
What kind of elements went into composing the soundtrack?
So the question was, what kind of elements went into composing the soundtrack? Is there anyone who wants to?
The composer is actually in the UK, Tom Newman, and I found him online looking for a demo, and he said he would be happy to do the trailer. We were blessed with to be able to get him to actually do the movie. So I can't answer the question how it was actually composed, but he really wanted to be here. He was very excited that he could do the film, and I think it made for a great soundtrack.
Well, I know he actually used this project as his senior thesis project at the composing school in Leeches that he was at in the UK somewhere. So this was actually like a grade for him to graduate from this program. So he put, the music was, it was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. I mean, I'm huge on the music, and I told him, I said, I love John Williams, and I kind of wanted that feel to it, and I wanted something really triumphant, and at the same time, he had these parts where it was really soft, and the whole story about the family. So the actual how he did it, I think I actually have no idea. He would just send it to me, and it sounded good, so we put it in the movie. Yeah, I've actually never had a conversation with him other than on email or Facebook. So I have no idea what he's like actually.
Technology. What is the camera? What is your editing system?
Yeah.
We shot on the Canon T2i, so it's like one of those tiny DSLR that shoot videos. So it's really tiny, it's weird. We had a couple of them through the school, so it was great that we had the school support with lights and like just vehicles to transport the stands and everything, because there was a lot of equipment for this like tiny but really ambitious project.
As far as editing software goes, we used Adobe's Creative Suite 5.5. Most of it was done, Matt did the editing for it, and then he would send us the project files, and we would compile them with the effects in After Effects, and then on Blu-ray that we just watched it on, and everything pretty much stayed on one of our 3 computers with little pieces going out to the sound and to get the sound mixed and to get the score done, but most of it was done with Adobe software.
Any other questions here? Yes, right there, exactly.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Matt, how closely you stuck to your original screenplay, or did you make adjustments while you were filming it? You saw things that worked better?
Actually, wish someone would ask me that, because I just saw an interview with Steven Spielberg where I've seen everything he's ever been in. But he said that a script is very fluid, and it changes throughout the whole production. And that's really what it was. I mean, the way it started was this time last year, a little bit earlier, I started writing the script, and I had a first draft. I actually wrote treatments. I wrote a treatment for this movie and then for another movie, and I actually showed them to Mr. Ryan, and he read them through, and I started writing this one, and I wrote most of it over Christmas break, and then I wrote it into a lot of last year. In fact, I actually kind of changed my sleeping pattern. I would wake up at 5 to do homework, because at nights I would write the script. So it took about like a couple months to get it finished, and then if you look at the most recent finished printed draft to what the movie is, I would say like a huge amount of it was changed. Because there's something about like writing it all on the paper, and you want to film it all just so you know you capture the whole storyline. And then when you look at it, you realize that people are smarter than you think, and so you don't need to explain something and then go to it. You can just kind of go to it. So, I mean, there's still things that I know I can cut down. I mean, I always would be wanting to work on it, but so the actual finished product compared to the script is a lot more condensed. It's a lot more, and it's a very visual movie. So to write a movie like that is a lot different. You know, I think people tried to read the script, and I know my family couldn't really get through it. They're like, "Oh, this is cool. You're writing a movie, man." So yeah, it's not like a talkie. It's like a comedy. It's not fun to read. So, well, I mean, I had fun, but I mean, the way that the project kind of began was I actually, you saw this before my dad. My dad passed away when I was in 5th grade, and I always kind of wanted to write about my relationship with him. And so instead of that dynamic of having a son lose a father, I kind of wanted to write about a father losing a son. Not really out of spite, but just to kind of turn the role around. And I thought that a movie about death would be kind of boring if it was just all about death, so then I added in this whole like sci-fi paranormal